Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. I'm so glad you're here. I felt very pressed to do a video just kind of updating you guys on how I've been doing after having a miscarriage, and it's kind of impossible to put into words all the things that I've been going through. I just didn't want to feel disingenuous because I am putting out other videos. I just wanted to kind of share with you how I'm feeling behind the camera, you know, the moments that you don't see. It's been 5 weeks, a little over 5 weeks at this point. To be honest, I don't feel like I've healed at all. And just kind of thinking through, how am I supposed to walk through this? This type of experience is so different for every single woman who's gone through it. Like, people that I've heard stories, people I know personally have handled and have gone through these things so differently than me. And I think that's something I didn't realize about it at the beginning, was how unique it was going to feel. I'm gonna grieve differently than other women, and I knew that in my head, but now I'm really starting to realize that there isn't a how-to manual for this, because every single woman is different. One thing that I realized about myself was how I can compartmentalize my emotions, where I can wall off that side of me and that hurt and that sorrow. You know, I did it for like a week straight where I just didn't think about it, I didn't pray about it, didn't read about it. I just blocked it out and got stuff done. I had super productive days and was just feeling good. You know, I felt good. To be honest, I think I did it because I needed a break. I needed a break from being sad all the time, because I didn't realize how exhausting it is. It is so tiring to be sad all the time. And so for my sanity, I just didn't think about it. And then after a week, I sat down and I prayed and I thought about it, and immediately was rushed back to those same thoughts and feelings and the heaviness. Like, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't get any better. It was sitting there waiting for me. Like, time is not healing this, even though it's been over 5 weeks. I feel just as hurt and broken as I did the day we found out. At this point, I've gotten to the stage where it's been a long enough time where people don't check in on me regularly, and they haven't for a while, and that's fine. I don't expect that of anybody. Anybody even reaching out to me was, you know, a blessing. But I do have to say that there is part of me that's a little bit relieved not to have to answer the question, how are you doing? Every single day. Because my answer would be the same as yesterday, the same as the day before, the same as a week ago, the same as 14 days ago, the same as 30 days ago. Like, I feel the same. Nick and I were talking the other night about stuff, and I was just, you know, crying to him and saying how I don't feel like I'm able to heal from this, and maybe I'm never supposed to heal, in the sense of how we think of healing is, when we're healed, we're just as good as we were as if it never happened, whatever that thing that we're healing from. But I don't think that's ever how God had intended us to go through things, because our pain has a purpose. And if there's purpose to our pain, then we don't want to ever go back to how it was before we went through it. There's going to be scars, and there's going to be signs in our life of what we went through that was hard. And I think that that's a good thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think about some things that have been really difficult for me to walk through, that have been 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years ago now. And there is a part of me that can think about it and still cry to this day, because it was such a painful thing and a painful thing to walk through. Now, that doesn't mean that that is plaguing me every second of every day. In that sense, like, there is healing to be where it's not affecting my everyday thoughts and everyday life, but it still had an impact on me. And I think that the same thing is gonna be true for this. Is like, this is a huge thing that I've never walked through before. Gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, every horrible emotion I could possibly think I've felt. That it would be impossible for me to ever act and ever go back to a life where I didn't experience this. I mean, not to mention that there was a life involved, that I had a child. I think that there are definitely still times where I feel empty without them. Even though I never really got to see them, I never got to meet them. They were so small, and they changed my life in such amazing ways. Oh my gosh, okay. Sorry. Ultimately, I'm sitting down with you guys because I want you to know. I feel like having a YouTube channel and making it about my life and my faith and my walk through things is hard, in the sense of you can very easily not let people into the harder parts and the darker parts and the things that you don't want people to see. But I have felt that God's wanted me to be open and vulnerable about my life and share the ups and downs and show you guys the things that other people might not want to let others in on, you know. The most encouraging things for me right now has been the friends that have said, you know what, it's okay if you're not okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay not to have a happy life right now, because it's definitely not. That doesn't mean that we can't find joy in things that are happening in our lives, but my life right now is not happy, and that's okay. Like, this is my life, this is my journey that I'm walking through, and what God is teaching me through trials, He is giving me a lot at the same time, and that's why it's like very overwhelming, and that's why sorrow has been so exhausting. And I've wanted to have like productive days and weeks where I just don't think about how much hurt I'm in. One of the things I wanted to mention was my friend gifted me this little devotional. It's called Held by Abby Wedgeworth, 31 Biblical Reflections on God's Comfort and Care in the Sorrow of Miscarriage. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me weeks to open this because I just wasn't ready. I had it on my nightstand, I kept looking at it, and I wasn't ready. Once I finally opened it, her introduction was exactly what I needed, and also had me sobbing that I couldn't even see the page. My eyes were just like full of tears. But the whole point of something like a book like this, and this specific book, because it's the only one I have that addresses this topic, it's probably the only one I need, to be honest. She made it so clear that you have to go at your own pace, and her words have been just a refreshment to say that my experience is unique and it's different, and I have to walk through that. No one else can walk through it for me. Other friends of mine or other women who have gone through a miscarriage, they have to walk through their story. It's different for them. And what helps me cope might not be what helps them cope. In a sense, like, that's kind of difficult, because you're like, how do I encourage someone? How do I help someone that's also going through this when things that have helped me might not help them at all, and vice versa? I personally, at this point, haven't really wanted to talk to anybody. I haven't really wanted to see anybody. I have canceled a lot of plans with friends. I haven't felt stable emotionally enough to go to church in person, because even at this point, every time I watch service online, I just sit on my couch bawling the whole time. And I want to go back to church so bad. I want to be around community. But I am just so emotionally fragile. And Nick and I have had a lot of really good talks, and me, because I'm an outward processor, I think that also maybe makes it harder for me not to be around people and talking to people about it, because I'm not able to process what I'm thinking and feeling. Having a YouTube channel is very interesting for an outward processor, because sometimes I have an idea of what I want to talk about, but I have no idea what I'm going to say. And so most of my videos, I just turn on the camera and start talking, and I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about. It just comes through my thoughts, and this thought makes me think of another thought, but I wouldn't have thought about those things had I not started talking. I haven't felt really like emotionally stable enough to get together with friends or talk to friends on the phone or FaceTime anybody. It gives me anxiety to have to talk to people about how I feel, because I know they're gonna ask, and I know I'm just gonna cry. And sometimes I just don't want to do that. Life after miscarriage is very complicated and confusing. I'm still trying to navigate things. Like, I don't feel like any time has passed, in the sense like I feel like we had just gone to the hospital a couple days ago. I think, us as tiny, frail human beings, we get so uncomfortable with pain and being uncomfortable that we just, in a lot of senses, like, we're wimps when it comes to tragedy and trials, and we just want it over with because we don't like how it feels. I don't like when I'm depressed all day, and I don't like when I don't have any motivation. I don't like when I'm laying in bed for too long because I just don't have the energy. Like, I don't like those things. I'm trying so hard to avoid the pain because I don't want to feel it anymore, when I probably should be feeling it to get through it. I desperately want to feel normal, and that's why I've been able to compartmentalize my grief, to ball it up, push it to the side, and then have a brief moment where I can not think about it, maybe film some videos and act like it's not there, and then maybe when the camera goes off, it comes back to the surface, and I'm like, oh, here we are again, like, you didn't go anywhere. So I don't know if there's anyone that watches my videos that has also gone through something like this, or is going through something like this with me. I don't want you to feel like you're not progressing in the way that you should be, because whatever that should be, is that really how it should be? I don't have it figured out. There's a lot of things that I'm excited about and want to get to and want to do, and yet I don't feel like I am able to quite yet. I don't feel like mentally, emotionally, I can do certain things. And I guess I just have to be okay with where I'm at right now and just working through it with God. I know He is teaching me stuff. Feels like a very slow, drawn out process. Even when I was talking to another friend who's going through a miscarriage as well, like, almost instantly she was seeing God work in her life. And at that point, it had been weeks, and I didn't feel like God was doing anything in my life. He felt distant. I was upset with Him because I just didn't understand. Like, He knows me. So why would He do this to me, Like, how could this be His best plan for my life? I trust Him, and I also don't know if I trust Him. And it's like my flesh and my spirit are at war, because my flesh is so hurt by opening myself up and being vulnerable to these things and trusting the Lord, and then having it so quickly turned on me and just like thrown at me and just ripped me open. My flesh is having a hard time fully trusting. And so I've been very, very reliant on my spirit to make decisions and not my flesh, because there have been a lot of decisions that my flesh wants to make. And I just have to say no to what my flesh wants and say yes to what the spirit wants, even if it doesn't make sense to my mind. And so that's what I'm trying to do every single day, is like listen to my spirit, even if my flesh is waging war against it right now. And I think that's just making it even more of a emotional battle, and like I just feel very pulled back and forth. And I think just right now He's just really, really wanting me to have faith when I cannot see, when I don't feel like I can see Him, when I don't feel like I can see the outcome, when I don't feel like I understand why He did it. And He's just still calling me to have faith. I don't understand so much of what is going on. And for me personally, that's why I think so many of these journeys are going to be so different for each woman. But for me personally, like, I like knowing. I need to know. I like to be in control. I like to plan things. I'm very like structured in life and in my emotions and stuff. I can control my emotions pretty well. And so something like this has shown me that I don't really have control of these things, and these things have happened to me, not because of me. And that's also hard because I can take responsibility for if I was the one that did something wrong. But it seems like everything in life, things that are happening to me, not because of me. Therefore, they weren't planned out. I can't blame myself for them. I don't even know who to blame. Well, God's in control, so is he to blame? And I'm not blaming him. I know that he's sovereign, and he wanted me to walk through this, and he called my baby home when I wanted my baby, It's like, why? At this point, I'm just sitting and rambling, and I feel sad. Again, I did want to update because I didn't want to feel disingenuous about posting and not really letting you guys in on how I'm actually doing, how I'm actually coping, and that if someone else has gone through a miscarriage and they're watching my videos, they might think, oh, she's doing great. But that's not reality, behind the scenes. And for most of my days, I post 20-minute video once a week, but you don't see all those other hours during the day, or all the days that I don't film, that I'm just like laying in bed or sitting on the couch crying, trying to read my Bible, like you don't see those moments. And so I just want to share those and to say this is how I'm coping, this is how I'm dealing with it. I don't know how long of a process it's going to be. I appreciate the prayers because this is really difficult, and I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. I feel in a lot of senses, I feel like I'm standing in an open field, so vulnerable, and yet have no idea where I'm supposed to go from there. I'm a human, and I'm trying to figure it out, trying to heal my relationship with the Lord. That's how I'm doing. I appreciate your guys' patience with me because things just aren't going to be normal for a while. I can definitely see that. So I really do appreciate you guys watching, supporting me, and continuing with me on my life journey. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.